6:45 on the clock. February, of course, is Black History Month. And if we as Black people want to keep on making that history, health is key. So this month we're focusing on Black wellness. This morning we're diving into mental health. I spoke with an expert about the dual issue that providers and those seeking care are dealing with. From the arrival of the first slaves in America to the civil rights movement to the most recent racial reckoning that took root here in Minnesota, Ebony Aramabor says being Black in America comes with an ongoing sense of trauma.
We are continuing to experience things, so it's not like post-traumatic anything. It's like traumatic, this is actively like happening.
That's why she says it's so important for Black Americans to take care of their mental health. Aramabor is the founder and executive director of Village Support Therapy.
And we specialize in providing culturally specific mental health care. And we have special focus on the Black community across the diaspora.
She's operating at the center of an issue that's twofold: getting more Black people to embrace therapy and getting more Black people to provide it. Aramabor says as far as that goes, financial and educational barriers have created major discrepancies in the field.
Trying to find a Black therapist is like trying to find a needle in a haystack. Nationwide, Black clinicians only make up about 4% of the industry. And then locally here in Minnesota, we only make up about 1.6%.
And that can tie into people seeking care.
I'm not saying that all Black people need to see a Black mental health provider. However, there is like endless research and anecdotal evidence that shows that like Black people are, one, more likely to seek out care when they can connect with someone that looks like them.
There are other factors that hold Black people back from therapy, whether they're financial or even generational.
When I think about like in Black families, how oftentimes you're told by the elders, you don't go to outside folks. You don't tell your business. You don't tell your business. But then also I think a lot of that has to do with kind of a lot of the systematic injustices that Black people have experienced.
She says some of that hesitation is based on a stubbornness built on centuries of resilience.
We've been through things. Your ancestors have been through worse. We continue to go through things. We can't sit around and cry about it.
So consider this your wake-up call. Aramabor and others are working to create better outcomes for Black people needing help and those seeking to provide it. As that slow progress continues, and even with barriers in the way, she says your mental health should be a priority. And there is help out there.
And I think one thing that I want to say is that I think a lot of people feel like they need to wait until they're like in a crisis state, but like you can take a proactive approach. Maybe you're not in a crisis state, but you still have some things that are impacting your mental health.
And as she said there, finding a Black therapist is like finding a needle in a haystack. Trust me, I've been there before. It is not easy, but I wanted to help streamline the experience for you at home. So click the link to this story in the Sunrise section of KARE11.com. That story will be up after our show. You'll find a link to Ebony's practice, and it'll also include a link to the Mary Ellen Strong Foundation and their directory of Black therapists in Minnesota and Wisconsin. But it's all about that shared experience.
Yeah.
And I know when I was looking for a therapist, I wanted somebody that looked like me to discuss the issues that were affecting me. And that made such a difference when it came to my mental health journey.
Yeah, and thanks for highlighting this and sharing the story with so many people. I'm sure it will impact them. And of course, if people are looking for help, again, you have that story. Will be posted after the show here.
Right after the show.
On Sunrise.